Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kathy. So I wanted to start a new series on different popular sayings that are from the Bible. So I want to say a quick welcome to all my new subscribers and thank you to all of my subscribers. And I thought this would be fun. I had a couple different ideas of what to talk about next since I just finished up reading the book of Psalms, which was incredible. And if you didn't check that out, there's a whole playlist. And if you did watch them, make sure you watched the summary of the book of Psalms. That was really neat just to see as I read through and what I learned, and then a little bit of research I did. And yeah, it was amazing. I had never learned that much about it. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. And I thought this would be fun. I had a couple other ideas and then God put it on my heart to talk about these. And I like learning about where different phrases came from or word origins. You know, maybe phrases like it's raining cats and dogs or something like that we maybe say all the time. And, you know, different countries I'm sure have different ones, but in America, that's one of our popular ones. And, you know, when you start looking up where these sayings came from, it's really fascinating. So I thought, well, this would be fun to see phrases that came from the Bible that we might say all the time or just so regularly that we don't even know that they're from the Bible. So this one is the saying, the writing on the wall, or read the writing that's on the wall. This comes from Daniel 5. And I thought of this the other day. A friend and I were talking, and I can't even think specifically, but something was going on. And it was like, in my mind, I was thinking maybe about another person that, gosh, you know, they can't see the writing on the wall. I mean, it's right in front of them. And, you know, and sometimes, you know, that's happened to me. Maybe it's happened to you. Maybe all these things are pointing out, and it could be good or bad. In the story of Daniel, it's bad, and it can be warning someone of impending doom or consequences of their actions. And I'll talk more about that. But yeah, so that came to my mind the other day, like, gosh, you know, I wish they could see the writing on the wall. And then I thought, oh yeah, that's from the story of Daniel, and that's where we get it from. So that whole story, and I think I would absolutely freak out if I saw just a hand appear and start writing words on a wall, and oh my gosh. So I can imagine back then when this happened. So Daniel 5, this is the story of Belshazzar's feast, King Belshazzar, in Babylon. So the king was hosting a grand banquet and was using gold and silver vessels that his father, King Nebuchadnezzar, had stolen from the temple in Jerusalem. So right there, that's not good. God might be a little bit mad about that, or a lot mad about stealing gold and silver, you know, cups and goblets. It just says vessels, from his temple in Jerusalem. So while the feast is going on, suddenly a mysterious hand appeared and wrote on the wall, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. So the terrified king called for Daniel to interpret the message. Daniel explained that God had numbered King Belshazzar's days, found him wanting, and would divide his kingdom. So that night, Belshazzar was slain, and Darius the Mede took over the kingdom. So that happened pretty quick, probably within a few hours, I would guess. And so this might remind us that God sees our actions, but also warns us. So like I mentioned before, this was meant to, warn of impending doom and consequences for the king's actions. And, maybe it could be, maybe not as graphic as that, maybe something in your life that, I'm not sure. I'll just throw some examples out there. Maybe your partner is doing things that are suspicious, and maybe all of your friends are saying, I think they're up to something. Maybe they're having an affair, maybe they're stealing from somewhere, maybe they're doing bad things at their work. Who knows what it is? And maybe, all these examples are coming up that, people are saying maybe you or whoever it is doesn't want to realize that that's what's actually going on. But sometimes, we have to read the writing that's on the wall, like, okay, yeah, this is happening and I need to confront them about it, or confront the situation. Or maybe, I'm just trying to think of another example. Maybe something's going on at your work. I don't know. Maybe you're having this feeling that it might be time for you to move on. So maybe your coworkers are talking bad about you. Maybe there's rumors being spread. Maybe your boss is looking at you side-eyed, looking at you with suspicion, or whatever it is. There's all these things that are going on, and you're thinking, gosh, I'm always turned down for any kind of promotion. Any of my ideas are shot down that are really good, or my supervisor takes my idea and then gets all this praise for it, and I'm put down, or, just all these things are working negatively towards you. Maybe those are all signs that, it might be time to move on. Yeah, so I don't know. You'll have to think about those, or let me know down below if you can think of any examples. I could just think of, maybe your partner, maybe something's going on there, maybe your work, something's going on there. And sometimes people don't want to read the writing that's on the wall, and it's like, oh gosh. And I've been there, both with maybe a boyfriend or a job, or both, and both at the same time. Sometimes it's just time to move on. It's time to just cut the cord and say goodbye and move on. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I don't know how many of these there will be. Probably, I think maybe 15 to 20. There could be a lot more, but yeah, I think it'll be fun. So all right, well, I hope everyone's having a great day. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and share, and I will see everyone in the next video. All right, God bless.